think all of us who have even a little bit of interest in the market associate the word AI and financial investing with NVIDIA. It's almost
Yes.
synonymous.
Yeah, and maybe we get started with the financial part of it, because I am looking at the NVIDIA share price going up, 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 and up. It's like a stretched elastic.
Yes.
And the last 2 days, it has been lingering very close, went up and came down. And today, for the first time, it's in the red, slightly in the red. So is
Yeah.
it going to snap and come down? That's my worry. So,
Mm.
Sandeep, share your thoughts on the financials.
So, and that is a worry where I hear a lot in the financial world. Everyone is asking the question, when do we start trimming some of the AI plays? And so far, the answer has been not yet. We don't know how long that's going to stay for. But from the financial perspective, NVIDIA looks absolutely beautiful. It is almost like a storybook, make-believe Disney fairy tale of a stock where,
But I guess it is the multiples that people are scared about.
yeah. So NVIDIA is trading kind of rich from both the PE and the price to earnings growth perspective. But if we think about things like margins, NVIDIA just has almost no challengers. It's insane. I just quickly going into some of their margins. Now, this is a net margin, which is after all the costs, after all the expenses. Right now, they're sitting at a net margin about 26%, which is up
Wow.
13% from just the prior quarters.
This is not gross, this is net.
Yes. And here is the insane part, Raj. This 26% margin is set to increase to 46% in the next quarter and eventually 50% and 55% based off Wall Street's analyst estimates and their prior earnings, which
No wonder
is
the prices are jumping
insane. Yes.
when
Mm,
it comes true. So this is again going to be the buy the rumor, sell the news event when the
maybe.
next earning comes. So that's where you should not be holding the baby, because
Yes.
if that's a very lofty expectation.
Mm,
If that
it
is
is.
not met, it's going to just plummet immediately. The knee-jerk reaction will be
Yeah.
going down. So if you're doing pure play NVIDIA, it's a
Mm,
very scary position to be in, because there'll be many big fund companies and all who have put a lot of money into the market, and part of that would have gone into NVIDIA. And
true.
with NVIDIA picking up so much of value, I think the risk factor would be that many of these, especially mutual funds, would have policies which
Mm,
dictates what percent will go into equity, what percent will go into fixed income instruments. And within the equity, they will have ratios, how much goes into which sector and so on and so forth. So there will be
very true.
rules. And when one of the stocks in that portfolio explodes so much, they will have to trim down the size sooner rather than later. So I don't know how many of these funds have already trimmed the portfolio, but that risk also remains.
Mm,
So that could be happening.
yeah. Actually, Raj,
Yeah,
I do see over here, I took down a note that
yeah.
70.75% of NVIDIA shares are held by institutions, which is, it sounds like a lot, but
Yeah.
a lot of the times I've seen numbers that are in the 80s and even greater. So
Right.
it's interesting.
70% is high, but it also depends on what type of institutions.
Yeah.
If they are hedge funds, or if they are,
Financial.
family business. So those kind of, I don't know if family business is classified as institutional, but institutional investors have got one good thing, which is stability, rationality of behavior. But at the same time, institutional investment can afford to take snap decisions from time to time. There could be pension funds also in this who are holding it, and pension funds have a fiduciary duty to their clients to make sure that they preserve the value. So they would be risk averse. So when NVIDIA enters the risk territory, even though they have made a lot of money, accrued a lot of money, they would like to realize some. So I'm thinking that what I'll watch for I mean, this is my personal opinion, not financial advice. I want to be very careful because people are listening. What I would be looking for is NVIDIA opening high and then coming down
Mm.
every day for
Oh,
subsequent days. That's
slowly.
what I'll be looking for, which would mean that somebody is controlling the sales. They are they are just selling enough to keep the price in a particular range and making sure that there is
Mm.
appetite in the market to pick it up so
Liquidity.
that they can gradually get rid of a big chunk. And I think most fund companies and institutions would like to do that in order to realize maximum gain and still retain
Mm.
some holding in the portfolio for potential future gains, given that it's a really solid company and the margins are going to keep on going up. What do you think?
Could definitely be a possibility. But yeah, I see that definitely as a possibility. However, I just don't know when, because there's so much optimism in this company and its ability to generate revenue.
Yeah.
It's insane.
But it is definitely getting affected by the overall market sentiment. So when
Right.
the market sentiment is good, it may go up very strongly. When the market sentiment is weak, it doesn't go up that strongly. And when the market sentiment is bad, it has got a tendency to have a little bit of red like it had today. But one good thing today was like I anticipated, money came back into genomics.
Mm.
All
Yes,
our
you're right,
genomics was
CRISPR.
green. So tomorrow I think it's going to be red again. So
Oh
I've
boy.
seen a few stocks in our watch list which are range bound. I'm going to validate it again tomorrow before publishing. Swing trading could be done out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what do you have in financials for
Ah.
NVIDIA, Sandeep?
So in the financials, I have some comments about the demand and why the demand is just so insane. Insane in a good way, where so NVIDIA makes the H100 and the A100 chips, which
Right.
are the primary enterprise AI chips.
Yeah.
And by enterprise AI, I mean these are the AI chips that a lot of the big institutions like Microsoft Azure and Meta and Oracle and Amazon will be buying. They're buying these chips and they're buying them at an insane margin. Just thinking about this, the I've got it right here. The H100 chips used to sell for about $100,000. Now they're selling about 70 to $80,000 because they're able to pump out the supply. However, they cost about 10,000 to make.
Wow.
And the A100 chips cost about 1,000 to make and are selling for 10,000. And the demand is there. It's
Wow.
and I looked through a bunch of the other earnings, talking somewhat about the other companies that are making a bunch of these AI related chips. Um, Thinking about Tesla's Dojo chip. Elon Musk said, our Dojo chips are nice, but we are going to continue buying the H100s and the A100s because they are better. And what I feel is the second greatest chip and GPU company in AMD has almost in a way not outright surrendered to the AI and the A100 and H100 chips, but they are kind of saying we're going to go into a different path where the AMD is partnering with the company Cisco and Broadcom on Ethernet related
Right.
products, and Intel is moving into manufacturing. And this
Yeah.
is just
Yeah.
everyone almost has a consensus as NVIDIA, best AI company, best AI chips. And it's almost a consensus.
Yeah, I think I published a video on
Mm.
fundamentals of AI where I was talking about the various layers. I don't know if it's already out or not. I'm making so many videos, I don't remember which is out, which is not. But in that, I was speaking about Google and Microsoft and how each one of them is performing and who is going in for network. So Intel seems to be going into the networking area as well.
Yeah.
So, and they're also going for Foundry.
Mm.
But here's where I think I have a parallel. I remember when PC started becoming more popular,
Right.
right? So x86 chips were used at that time.
Okay.
And then we had Pentium. When Pentium came, there was a lot of excitement, and
Mm.
Pentium was selling at a premium.
Yeah.
And then the premium just went down. There were AMD chips also that came in, and so on. So that
Uh-huh.
competition kind of cooled. And then the multiple cores, dual core and multiple core, all those things came in. And after a period of time, the competition kind of became, it's not like the leader always stays in the lead. So it still needs really good active leadership in order to maintain the leadership. So right now, NVIDIA may be on the top, but they can't take it for granted. And
Good point.
at this
Good
point
point.
of time, all these big companies are soaking up every bit of production. That's why $1,000 production cost can be sold for $10,000 because that appetite is there. People are building the infrastructure. Just
Yeah.
imagine that you found a new planet, and on the new planet, there is nothing. So
Oh,
you're going to have bricks, you're going to have cement. That doesn't make the brick and cement producer all-time great forever. It's a period of time until all those infrastructure is built. And after that, people are not going to need as many bricks. And
right.
after that, people are not going to need as much of cement. The same way, NVIDIA has got a shelf life in which it's going to have this kind of thirsty demand. And that thirsty demand will kind of start to taper off when people have already built their infrastructure. And then what happens is incremental advance in technology is absorbed as a layer on top of what already is there. But there is not that desperate hurry to build up something in order to, be ahead of everybody else. It's like like everybody has a car.
Good
Now they are
example.
looking for better wipers. They're looking for better tires. Like it's not a desperate dash, but at the same time, there's a sense of urgency, but not so much that you're going to pay $10,000 for a chip that costs $1,000 to make.
Right.
So it kind of tempers down. So that's what I think is going to be the trajectory for NVIDIA
Good
going
example.
forward.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Oh,
So this is the page I was looking at. So this says, learn more about the latest technical innovations. And they have something here called accelerate CPU to CPU connections with NVLink C2C. So they are talking about expediting the speed of communication between CPU and GPU. And they're talking about high bandwidth CPU memory with LPDDR5X. And if you go to AMD's website, right, AMD is talking about LME3, which they say is way superior because the memory is within the chip.
oh.
And these guys are talking of LPDDR5X. As investors, I don't know what these things mean, but it's apparently it's the latest. And then we also have a new entry that I think we have to get into our watch list, which is ARM. So ARM, last time I saw that 2 days ago was at $91 or $92, and today it is in three
ARM.
digits, 115. Yeah, ARM.
Oh,
So it has
yes.
got something
Reported
to do.
earnings.
Yeah, they have fantastic earnings, and NVIDIA is collaborating with ARM in order to do something related to these AI chips in terms of communicating much faster, 10x better or something like that. So that's what I read in this paragraph. And here they are saying generative AI is memory and compute intensive. The NVIDIA GH200 Grace Hopper super chip uses 96 GB of HBM3 memory, delivering over 2.5x the GPU memory bandwidth of NVIDIA A100 Tensor Core GPU. GH200 utilizes 141 GB of HBM3E memory. So this HBM3 is what AMD was talking about, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. So I'm all confused when I look at these kind of paragraphs. So it will take me some time to read this and understand. I need a diagram to understand all of these things. But
I
suffice
like
to say,
visuals.
there is plenty of excitement here. There is plenty of motivation out here. And just quickly, if we go to NVIDIA,
Right. Going to see Raj's
so
chart.
here we have NVIDIA now. And in NVIDIA, we have, we closed at 696.41. We
Yeah.
lost $4.58 today. And look at the accent, how it has gone up, right?
Wow.
Look at how it has gone up.
Just
The
a
lowest
straight
point
line.
was 12th of October 2022, when it was at 121. what is that? Wait a second. Let me pull this up a little bit. Sorry. Yeah. So it was at 116.20 on 12th of October, 2023. And fast forward today, we are at 696. That's amazing. It's
I know.
scary. It's scary.
It's a straight line.
It's a straight lineup. It's scary.
I,
I've
I
never
remember
seen anything like this.
I remember an investor made a joke, and this is just a joke.
Yeah.
He said that at these price levels, Warren Buffett, who's a big critic of Tesla, is
Yeah.
more likely to buy Tesla than NVIDIA.
Yes.
Value.
He will not touch this. And look at this one here. The
Ooh,
expectation of earnings is 4.557 EPS and 20.23 billion revenue. And
just
last time what they had done was they had a estimate of 3.36 and they came in at 4.02 and they reported 18.12 billion. Okay.
huge beat.
So the challenge is, I think, almost 80 cents.
Wow.
So if you do 80 cents on $3.7, 8 threes are 24, 8 fours are 32, almost 25% extra. So that becomes a big challenge. Let us see what happens. It's going to be, the earnings are going to happen on 21st of February, which is a Wednesday after hours.
Yeah.
So we should start seeing a lot of calls being placed for for NVIDIA, I hope.
The
Um,
whole market is going to be just
yeah,
silent, paying attention to this date.
yes, it's going to be a scary date because with it, everything can collapse, right?
Right.
Definitely take the whole mood of the market down. If people lose money here, that much money is gone from the market.
Right, right.
So what we have here is basically that when people buy computers
Mm.
and they do not ask for a dedicated GPU,
Uh-huh.
then in that case, Intel has the maximum share. Because
Right.
if you buy a PC just like that, without looking for a specialized PC, then that PC will come with an Intel chip, which will have its own graphic processing unit within the chip, and that does the whole work. But if you went for a gaming PC, or if you went for a PC for the studio, like I did,
Yes,
it asks
yes.
for a dedicated GPU. So I have a dedicated GPU in my computer. So
Ooh,
in that area, NVIDIA is the leader.
good
It's got
example.
80,
Good example.
88, and 87%.
Great example.
Yeah, it's got,
I kind of integrated.
yeah,
Okay. Right. So pre-built, kind of like a laptop.
yeah,
Intel has the GPU big share. But
yes,
if you're custom building, you're just buying graphics cards, you're
yeah,
going with NVIDIA, or most people are.
yeah. And do you have any financial parameters that you thought you got excited with? Anything interesting in the
Ooh,
financials?
of course. So, yes, yes. So, NVIDIA's cash position is almost like unreal. It seems like,
How much money do
Raj,
they have?
where this company, it has $18.2 billion in cash and short term and their balance sheet. The current liabilities only about 9.1 billion. Their
Wow.
long-term non-current liabilities 11.7. They have almost enough, they have just about enough cash right now to knock out all of their debt, which is just a great position to be in.
Yeah,
And
and I had an idea when you spoke about this. I'm going to share the computer again, Sandeep. I'm sorry I'm all over the place today,
oh no, no.
but I'm very excited with what I'm seeing here. Look
Yes.
at this chart, okay? This chart belongs to ARM Holdings,
Yeah.
okay? You see this one-day jump
Mm.
post result, right?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
yeah, with this spike, its market capitalization is 78.95 billion.
And look at that gap.
Look at the gap up. Right? And if I was to take a wedge from here and look at how much it has gone up, It's up 47.71%.
Oh my goodness.
That's amazing, huh? It went up all the way from around 77.33
Yeah.
to 114.23. Whoever
And
was holding ARM, they have done gangbusters. They have met the target for this year already in terms of profits. They can just bank the money and just sit on the sidelines and go
yes,
only for surefire deals,
you
right?
can become a long-term safe investor.
Yeah, I was thinking that ARM would have market capitalization that will be just enough so that NVIDIA could just buy it up. But now with this jump, it is out of range.
Yes.
Market capitalization for ARM holdings is 78.95 billion. And for NVIDIA, the market capitalization is 1.72 trillion.
Insane.
Yeah, and AMD has a
Fewer than a
market
billion.
capitalization of
That's a
273.63 billion. It is still a baby compared to NVIDIA.
yeah.
And if you were to look at Intel Corporation, Intel has a market capitalization of 179.69 billion.
What a what a massive, massive.
Yeah, and NVIDIA
Yeah.
came from nowhere and zoomed past everybody.
Yes.
Amazing,
And
amazing.
Raj, this kind of brings up a very interesting observation I
Yeah,
made where, and this is what I feel the market seems to be doing with a lot of NVIDIA, where if other companies, AI related companies do well, like ARM, like Meta, like Amazon, like Microsoft, even Tesla and Oracle and Google, whenever they do well, that signals good returns and good news for NVIDIA because these companies are
fine.
buying more and more
Yeah.
NVIDIA chips, NVIDIA graphics cards. It means more revenue for NVIDIA and
And more
also the
ability for
inverse.
them to pay the premium.
Yes, yes, more revenue to pay the exorbitant prices. And also kind of the inverse, where if a company like um, Tesla didn't do as well as expected in their earnings, NVIDIA seems much more like a safer play to a lot of investors. They say this company lowering margins, losing revenue, this company great margins,
Yeah.
increasing revenue,
But
feel
there
much
is
more confident and safe in this company.
but there is
That's
one
what I feel the
caveat
market.
for NVIDIA. One
Yes.
has to be very careful
Mm.
because NVIDIA still, I think, depends on TSMC, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
for chip manufacture, and that's in
you are correct.
Taiwan, which is a flashpoint.
You are
So
correct.
with Biden's CHIPS Act, if they are able to manufacture the sufficient quantities
Yeah.
within the US, it,
Mm.
it eliminates the risk of not being able to produce the chips. That's point number one. At the
Yeah.
same time, when you produce in the United States, the costs are going to be up. So the $1,000 chip, which they are selling for 10,000, might probably be produced for say $2,000, and they still have 8,000 as margin, but the margins might take a little bit of a strain because the
Great
cost
point.
differential of manufacturing in Taiwan versus manufacturing it in the US, the
Uh-huh.
salaries of the staff and the taxes and all those things when you put it all
Benefits.
together. But they will be saving on transportation,
Yes.
lag time, all those things. So
And
overall,
transportation.
there is a little bit of risk. Changing supply chain is always a bit difficult and it
Right.
takes a little bit of time. So yeah,
Mm.
so that's what I have. So anything else you got, Sandeep?
NVIDIA, 90% buy rating. Only 1.6% sell ratings, 7.8% neutral holding, and the highest price target I've seen as of a couple of days ago is 1,000 per share. Most I've
Wow.
seen between 7 and 800, where we're
Yeah.
kind of there right now. So, um, do with that information what you will. But
It's like a twilight zone, Sandeep. That's why I
yeah,
thought we should have this chat and record it for
yeah,
our audience, basically
mm,
because it's like twilight zone. It's so
yeah.
stretched. The value is so stretched.
Yes,
Can
yes,
I
it is.
confidently say that it won't go up anymore? No.
And it
And can
does.
I confidently say that you buy? No, I can't because I mean I don't want egg on my face, right? It could fall tomorrow. Who knows what could happen? Right. And do I have confidence that it could meet all the earnings? It may not. The hype is such, and the overall market sentiment is so strong that anything less than positive is seen as contrarian.
Mm,
And being contrarian is always a dangerous thing
you're right.
because you are most likely to be wrong. That's why it's called contrarian. The chances of being right is very, very less according to conventional wisdom at that point of time, right?
Mm.
So I don't know what to make of NVIDIA, but the fortunes of everything else is linked with NVIDIA.
It's a mystery. The
It's a
company is very well managed.
yeah.
It's a beautiful company, but the valuations, that can be a big debate.
Yeah. So NVIDIA, I think it's doing a lot of collaborations in different
Yes, it
sectors
is.
in order to get more use case into place. They did, I think in my very early video, I had done one about their project called Cambridge, which they are doing in UK, where they are doing some genomic research using NVIDIA chips for AI.
Great.
So that's what they are doing out there. I have to look it up. So anyway, so there are a lot of collaborations happening and revenue sources are there from different places. It's a success story. I made some good money. I have NVIDIA on my portfolio on the Canadian side. It's more affordable on the Canadian side because it's the Canadian depository receipt.
Mm.
So they take a share, and that's how I can have Berkshire Hathaway, or else I can't have it in my portfolio because somebody remarked that they could buy a Lamborghini or something for the price of a Berkshire Hathaway share, a second hand something. And that's what I saw on threads today. So
You don't have enough to sell some calls, some covered calls on
you can't do
six
that with
hundred thousand dollar
yeah.
Berkshire.
That's the problem with Canadian depository receipts. You can't do covered calls on them. So you just have to hold it.
Mm. Now,
So Sandeep, what?
would you be considering picking up more NVIDIA or wait and see?
No, I'm not picking up anymore. I'm picking up a little bit of Google because I think Google
Mm.
still has got value to give.
Nice.
And it's a good company. It should definitely come up. It has got good assets. And this is the election season. And I'm
Right.
expecting that there will be a lot of money spent on advertisements and a
Oh,
good chunk
wow.
will go for internet advertising and it will find its way to Google.
It's going to be entertaining.
Going to be
And
entertaining.
mm,
So anything else, Sandeep, or do we call it a day?
we could call it a day, but I just wrote down one thing, which is NVIDIA, and this is just from all the companies I've been watching, has one of the highest sustainable growth rates I've ever seen. And sustainable growth rate is just if this company were to utilize all of its current resources without taking on more debt or issuing more shares to get more capital, it has a sustainable growth rate per year of 68.43% if it was maximum efficient. Of course, nothing is maximum efficient, but that is high. So
That is
is
high.
that
And
lofty?
is,
Maybe.
have you seen anything that talks about constraints in manufacturing?
Hmm.
That's the
Let-
only thing that can put a
Yeah,
spoke in the wheel. Otherwise, it's
yeah.
looking well worth the valuation that it is going at, even though it's very high. Just because we have not seen such valuation doesn't mean that a company does not deserve that valuation. It may be that one-off company.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Very intriguing company.
Yeah.
This is a very fun chat.
So Sandeep, I think yeah, I think we covered all the bases. I'll go back and add whatever I have learned today into my diary out here, and then maybe I can come back and create a video on NVIDIA. And friends, I just wanted to show you
Hmm.
how Sandeep and I have discussions before we make a video. So this is what happens behind the scenes. So this is one of the behind the scenes videos that we decided to share with you. Please let us know what you think about our collaborating method in the comments below. And we'll catch up with you again. Thanks, Sandeep. Thanks for joining me. See you later.
Thanks, you ShareTreck friendos.
Good night, Sandeep.